All right, Joe, so you've been a proud supporter of the Drive for Men's Health for many years now.
Yeah.
And one of the avenues...
I think since you guys started.
Since 5 years.
Yeah.
And you've always been a supporter, and one of the avenues that you've helped us get in on is radio.
Sure.
And you've been doing radio for a while now, right? I think you guys just celebrated some anniversary, or?
Yes, so I'm a host, one of the co-hosts for the Men's Health Show on Dr. Radio, SiriusXM Channel 110. And SiriusXM Dr. Radio, the medical news channel that we have, just celebrated its 10th anniversary, so that's a big deal. SiriusXM leadership made the push to create this in conjunction with NYU Langone 10 years ago, and sort of has never looked back. And so we recently celebrated that anniversary, and they had stats on how many people have actually tuned into the show, stuff like that that we never hear, and we were all blown away.
Yeah.
All the docs were there. You know, this isn't our day job. We're all practicing physicians at NYU who happen to find it fun to host a radio show on occasion. But to have an understanding of how impactful that's been, it's been a real joy. So I've been doing radio spots with them for 10 years, but I became a host officially 9 years ago. And it was fun then. It hasn't lost one bit of its novelty. It continues to be fun, but I certainly feel like the most important part of it is the opportunity to reach patients who otherwise I'm never going to see. You know, patients all over the United States. With questions that, especially for a men's health show, sometimes the private nature of those questions.
So what are some of the oddest questions you've gotten?
Oh gosh, I mean, we've had all kinds of questions regarding sexual function complaints, sexual dysfunctions, and questions about how am I supposed to get care, who am I supposed to go see with this particular problem.
Any foreign bodies?
Yeah, that kind of stuff is, you know, and that's a recurring theme, you know, and it's stuff, and people will tell you openly, you know, I don't really want to go talk to somebody about this unless I have to go get seen. I'm like, you pretty much have to go get seen, you know. But that brings me back to something that I really think is actually important when you think about men's health, is that what's the barrier to people wanting to come in and get taken care of? Understandably, it's embarrassment. You know, there's been a lot that's happened in the past 20 years that have made people less worried about discussing with their doctor sexual health complaints like ED, like Peyronie's disease. But it's still very real that there are patients out there who feel shameful about these conditions or embarrassed about these conditions. They're shy. And then meeting a stranger and talking to a stranger about things like their sex life, their sexuality, their complaint, and then their own anxieties about their complaint. Are they ever going to be able to be normal and functional again? It's a lot.
I always thought it was odd that they'd be willing to talk to you in an open radio forum, but they'd be nervous about coming in and seeing us in the office.
You know, that's just, somebody hides, they hide in the back corner of their office, they pick up a phone.
Yeah.
And they know that no one can actually see them, and they hope that their voice doesn't sound too distinctive. But in the office, you're actually confronted by this person who you've never met before.
Yeah. So you can always hang up on the phone if
you get
nervous, but you can't leave the doctor's office.
Yeah, it's kind of strange to walk. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Am I really going to get up and walk out now? Haven't you seen it though? Walking into the room and just knowing how absolutely anxious the person in front of you is, and maybe just a limited interaction about something other than their complaint puts them at ease, and you watch them sort of exhale, and then they start talking.
Yeah.
And that's real. People come into these visits every single time, almost everybody, with some degree of anxiety, which is absolutely understandable. And it's on us to alleviate it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get around to solving this person's problem. And I think it's on us to put the word out there to people, hey, you don't have to be, it's not just you.
Yeah.
And other people have been there before in the same situation. They felt equally anxious about this. They've come in and they've gotten care for their problem.
Yeah.
And so a forum like this one, a forum like yours, is a great way to put that message out there, to remind people, men, you know, these conditions can be treated.
So some of the barriers could be the fear of what they're going to hear in the doctor's office, the fear of hearing the truth, the exam, the stigmas that may come.
Sure.
And anything else that I'm missing?
Fear of treatment.
Yeah.
I really do think those two things, you know, first is that thought that goes through the guy's head, well, what do I have?
Yeah.
You know, how many guys have come in to see for Peyronie's disease, but they're asking themselves the question, do I have penile cancer? People who feel something on a testis self-exam are like, oh my God, do I have testicular cancer? And then as well, the follow-up question, which is, and what am I going to have to do about this? Is somebody going to be suggesting to me surgery on my genitals? Like, what's that like? And again, you know, the internet can be a powerful tool for information, but can also be a powerful tool for misinformation. That person in that moment, they don't ask their buddy over a beer because they're embarrassed. They get on the internet.
Yeah.
And if they happen to stumble into the right forum, something like what you guys have been doing, they will see real information and might put them at ease and get them to a doctor. If they stumble into the wrong setting, they can absolutely get even more scared. They can get scared away from seeking care. And so, yes, I think those two fears are very real, and anybody rational, they're going to have some degree of that fear.
So if you had the opportunity to reach out to everyone out there and give them three tips that they could do right now, until they, that not everyone can come see you or me, or not everyone can always hear you on the radio, but 3 tips that right now, this moment, that you can start initiating in your life to get that extra mile out of your life.
Okay, so recurring theme, doctors of all specialties who come through the show, and you ask them, what do you think people need to be doing in terms of health behaviors? Over and over again, you'll come back to people saying, if you smoke, quit. If you don't smoke, don't start. Exercise with a goal, including diet, obviously, towards weight loss, okay? And sleep more. Now,
everyone's saying sleep today.
Yeah, I know. Well, at least we're consistent. I would put exercise and sleep under the same category of, so to go back to your question, 3 strong recommendations to the young man out there. Again, if you smoke, quit, don't start. But the others, maybe find ways to manage stress in your life that are easily accomplished by you. And included in those things are going to be strategies for exercise on a more regular basis, sleeping on a more regular basis. That makes a big difference in terms of someone's stress levels. But last is, take the time now to find a physician who you can develop a relationship with. So maybe in your 30s, you don't have to have a primary care doctor. Maybe in your 30s, you don't have to see someone like us. But it might be a good time to doctor shop a little bit. Find someone who you
Not
say...
Dr. Google.
No,
a real
doctor. That you walk out of the office and you say to yourself, I really like my time with that person. He or she really helped me to feel better about myself and my overall health. And I would be willing to see them again in an effort to keep myself healthy. Creating that relationship now, maybe when it's not urgent for you to have it, is absolutely something that's going to serve you down the road for years and years and years. So those are my 3 recommendations, kind of managing stress, finding a doctor, stay away from cigarettes.
Awesome, man. Joe, thank you very much.